Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that. Man, I'm really enjoying this. It's fucking 11:30 on a Saturday morning. Drinking some High Life, talking about my favorite slasher films. It's fucking awesome. Hoping you're enjoying me ramble on here. I swear I can never do anything quickly. Number 3, the final 3. Top 10 favorite slashers. Tobe Hooper's The Funhouse. When you think about Tobe Hooper, obviously, of course, and can't argue with this. You think about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of the best films of all time. This is a hell of a film as well. Again, I say it's like a broken record. I really like atmosphere and all that stuff, and vibe and feel to a film, and this has that, but it also has good kills, some gore. But I love, much like when I mentioned Clown House, that whole, obviously the whole thing is with the fun house and in a circus carnival. That whole vibe is really cool and just reeks of a horror film. And he did such a good job with, it's a colorful film, you know, noises, the way scenes are shot, kind of like the jump scares, the bump in the night, the noises, everything about it within the fun house. Almost wish there was more films like this. Good cast of you know, teenagers or whatever. I guess they're supposed to be teenagers. They're probably older than that. And a great killer wears this awesome, creepy Frankenstein mask, and then later on, the mask comes off and it's revealed this awesome monster face. So you got great makeup and effects and prosthetics. It's everything you want in an 80s horror film. Just, I don't have to say 80s, in a horror film, and a great unique slasher because it's you know, it's just not the typical. It has a stalk and slash element, but it's so much more than that, and it's well character driven, and just having the circus and the funhouse be a character in itself is really cool. It just adds so much to the film, and great ending as well. There's a scene where one of my favorite scenes is when the lead actress, her parents are outside and she's inside, and they can't hear her, but she's screaming at them. Awesome scene. Just when you talk about Tobe Hooper films, you know, Funhouse needs to be mentioned. And again, one of these films that I can watch, you know, over and over, and have to watch it at least once a year, if not more than that. And another one I would have loved to have seen on the big drive-in screen, The Funhouse from Tobe Hooper. Hell of a slasher, a creative one, an original one. I actually met, my wife and I met, his name is Wayne Doba, who plays the killer in that film. Met him in a Horror Hound. I don't know how well you can see this. An adorable little man. He was just an absolute delight, and cool to meet him. Got him to sign my Funhouse original poster. Just had to show it. He's an adorable little guy, and did so well in that role. Number 2. Right when I thought about doing this top 10, I knew that this film was going to be in the top 10. I just had no idea where I was going to put it. And as I thought about it, I didn't want to... This is the only modern film I have in this list. And I didn't want to not put it high because it was new. Obviously, slashers are known in their heyday as in the late 70s and, you know, the 80s, of course. That's when slashers, you know, were in their heyday. This one to me is absolutely, it's number 2, so I put it in high regards, but I didn't want to not put it so high just because it was new. I mean, this film is fucking great. And I mean, right after I saw this film, I just knew it was one of my all-time faves. I mean, it's so cool to watch a newer film and say that right after you watch it. This is a Norwegian film. I've mentioned it before. This was one of my 8 films to die for when I did that episode. This is Norwegian film Fritt Vilt, aka Cold Prey. It's just, again, it has everything you want in it. Everything. It is gory. It has atmosphere. It has vibe. It has an amazing cast. Again, having things besides characters and killers be a character. The character is this ski lodge. The mountains are a character. The whole winter scene. This is a great film to watch. We're getting close to being in the dead of winter here in the East. Great film to watch when it's snowing outside. Again, the killer is fantastic. The it's a good story, kind of a standard slasher story, a troubled person with a past. They made a sequel to this, fantastic, not as good of course, but very good, almost like an homage to Halloween 2. And I just heard they're making a prequel to this, which is awesome. And I love the final girl right here. I call her an EB. She is a Euro babe. Ingrid Bolso-Burdell is her name. Fantastic. She's in the second one as well. She is so cute, and she's just awesome. A kick-ass final girl. This guy next to her is he's awesome, really funny. You really care about these two in particular. There's one guy who's kind of a douche. He plays the douche in the group, but the rest of the characters you really legitimately care about, which goes a long way in a slasher film. If you don't care about the characters, you better care about the killer. If you don't care about either of those, there better be some kick-ass gore. This has it all. You care about the characters. The killer's cool as well. The atmosphere, great gore. It has the stalk, excuse me, the stalk, which I think a lot of films, as slashers died down, you kind of saw them coming back in the late 90s and throughout the early 2Ks. Slashers were all about the gore and they were losing the stalk element. This has both stalk and slash. Absolutely amazing. Love the ending. Cold Prey, if you haven't seen this, it is a modern classic in my book, and number 2 on my top 10 list. Number 1, didn't really have to think about this one. This was going to be number 1 all along. And it kind of goes against a lot of the slasher, stereotypes and cliches that I guess more so became prevalent in the 80s. But this is one of the first slasher films. You could make a case it was the first, but it's done in a very different way. And even though it's not, it didn't lead to some of those 80s style ones, it did lead to a lot of films in the future with the whole telephone horror aspect, like Scream and a lot of those. So it influenced a lot of films in the future, and that is Black Christmas, my number 1, my favorite non-Halloween, non-Friday the 13th, non-Texas Chainsaw Massacre slasher of all time. Director Bob Clark just killed it with this film, and what makes this so unique is it's not gory. You never see the killer, and it just, I can't say enough about this film. It's just, the cast is fantastic. Olivia Hussey, who plays the lead actress, final girl, whatever you want to call it, she is fantastic. She's gorgeous. Her performance is fantastic. I love to meet her at a convention. You have the great, excuse me, the great John Saxon, who I absolutely love. Fortunate enough to meet him. Great guy. He's been in so many great, not only obviously horror films, but genre films in general. He is fantastic in this film. This film also does a great job of balancing some humor with it. It's a pretty dark film, but they throw some humor in it. For those of you that have seen it, I'll have to say it's full audio. Great scenes towards the end of the film, very tense. Even if I've seen this film a million times, and I still just get into the last 20 minutes of this film so much. You can see, the more you watch and the more you see other films, you see how much this influenced other films, and that's a great tribute to what a great film is when it inspires other filmmakers to rip it off or borrow from it. But what an ending! It's like, again, it's atmospheric. Margot Kidder is hilarious in this as like the drunk friend. But again, it's very dark as well. There's some. It's got a good winter atmosphere. There's a scene where, of course, Christmas. It's my favorite Christmas horror film. I watch it every year during Christmas, and there's a scene I remember when the father of one of the college students she's already been killed, but he doesn't know that. He's looking for her, and he's asking around the campus if anyone has seen her. It's a really like gripping scene. You feel bad for him, as odd as this father is, but you feel for him, and you already know what's become of his daughter. And it has a real dark attitude towards it, but at the same time, Bob Clark also was able to throw in some humor throughout it as well to break it up. But the scene with the phones, just fucking awesome, and no question, my number 1 favorite slasher film, Black Christmas. And again, I even think that's underrated. I don't think it's mentioned enough in not just slasher or Christmas film. It's one of the best horror films of all time, no question about it. Black Christmas by Bob Clark. That's it. It's my top 10. and really enjoyed doing that. Hope you enjoyed it. It was really tough, but I'm happy with my 10 list. I know I left out a lot of greats, but what a deep and vast subgenre it is of slashers. And it's continuing on with films like Laid to Rest and whatnot today. So come back and give you guys a couple of my picks of the month, and that'll be it. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed my list. This segment goes out to Railbender Ale. Really cool beer. Delicious. Alright, in case you haven't noticed, this season I've been doing basically 2 episodes every month. These last 2 months of season 1, November and December, I'm only going to do 1 episode. You know, with the holidays coming, and I got some hellish weeks coming up at work. I got a big gig with the band coming up, so I just don't have the time to do 2. So it'll be this one, and then next month the big season finale of season 1 of Horrors Ball. So get these picks of the month in for November. Cheddar pick. Remember, cheddar cheese is best served with wine or beer. So when you watch these cheddar films, you got to drink up. It helps things. So my cheddar pick of the month for November is Prophecy. It's an environmentalist horror film. It stars Talia Shire. Who is that? She played Adrian in the Rocky films. Adrian, nothing's over, just need something to drink. That was bad, I know. Remember that brisk commercial with the little claymation Rocky? That was that. Prophecy. This is incredibly entertaining. So much fun. I'm not sure, but I get the impression as I watch it that they may have actually been trying to be serious with this. But yeah, environmentalist horror film. Basically, a logging company makes some bad decisions and things go out of hand. So anyone out there that is watching that works for a logging company, please, if you use chemicals, something bad is going to happen. What is going to happen? Giant mutant bears. And this is proof of that. We got, man, I fucking love practical effects. You guys know I hate CGI, and just, you know, there's people running around in these giant bear suits, but it's a total throwback to, you know, a film from the 50s, a creature feature, and it's fucking awesome. The suits, they're obviously, you know, they're a bit from probably from the waist down, they're kind of bad, but up here it looks really good. Good effects. It's a lot of fun. For anyone who's seen this, 3 words: sleeping bag scene. Fucking hilarious. So entertaining. Have some beers. Really fun ride in Prophecy. It's a great creature feature, cheesy. The way they throw people around, these bears, such a good time. Fantastic choice for Friday or Saturday night. My cheddar pick of the month, Prophecy. Please, loggers, don't use chemicals. I can't stress that enough. My pick of the month. Go back, in case any of you missed it, back to the pilot episode, episode 2. I'm even more of a dork back then. I'm trying to get my foot in with doing these videos, and it's pretty fun to watch. Picture quality is even worse, but there's some valuable lessons in those shows. And episode 2, I talked about RT films. RT stands for rooftop. A rooftop film is a low-budget independent horror film that I love so much. Right after I'm done watching it, I want to run outside, climb the ladder to my roof, and shout out to the neighborhood, hell yeah, I just watched an awesome low-budget horror film. It's a rooftop film. You're just so proud you want to shout it out to the neighborhood. You want everyone to know. And I talked about that in episode 2. I recommended some good ones. I had what I thought was a great analogy of low-budget horror films are like going on a blind date. So check it out. Those first 2 episodes, they need some comment love. I think episode 1 has like 1 comment, so thank you to, I forget who it was. Thank you to whoever left that 1 comment on the pilot episode. I appreciate that. Anyway, it's fun with season 1 almost over, it's fun to look back on those first couple episodes when I'm even uber dorky. But anyway, so independent, low budget. I got a great one for my pick of the month. Actually, I have 2 pick of the months here to make up for, you know, having one last show. So this is an RT film. This is Psycho Holocaust. This was directed by, I get this right, Chris Rufty. What a name. Chris, don't call me Christ, Rufty. Fantastic job, a total homage to late 70s, early 80s horror exploitation films. Fantastic music. This is a 2009 film. Music is great, very synth heavy. Just totally sounds like a late 70s, early 80s horror film soundtrack, almost kind of Italian in some ways. You know, the grimy pictures in these low budget films, sometimes that works against the film. It just looks cheap and it kind of ruins it. Other times it makes it look even more creepier and grimier and more authentic, and this is a perfect example of that. The low budget quality of the film totally helps the atmosphere of this film. It's a kind of a typical like hillbilly redneck in the woods, campers getting you know, terrorized type thing, but it has a, I don't want to give away the ending, it has a good ending. Kind of went in a direction I wasn't really totally expecting. And similar film to this is, as far as how it looks, but the griminess of the film actually helps it, is Undertow, another really low budget one. Not as good as this one, but similar similar plot and whatnot, but check that out too, Undertow. Fantastic, great cast. I actually think that the actors were better than the dialogue and script they were given. Some of the dialogue is pretty brutal at times, but the actors are actually good. It has some independent horror stalwarts in it. Trent Haga, Billy Gabarina, and you guys know my woman Rain Brown. I've talked about her in the past. If I was a Mormon, she would be one of my many wives. Actually, that would suck to be a Mormon. I mean, it's tough enough to have one wife, actually. Sorry, honey. But Rain Brown, fantastic as always in this. And man, the gore is a bit inconsistent at times, but boy, is it done with great gusto and unbridled enthusiasm. It's fantastic. Chris, I mean, the kill scenes are just, there's a lot of passion in this film, and when you see that in a low budget horror film, it just really gets me excited. That's why it's a rooftop film. Again, the gore sometimes looks great, sometimes it looks bad, but it is done with a lot of passion. And one scene in particular, if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. I don't use enough props. Saw strap on. Ugh. Ugh. Saw strap on. You know what? I can't look at a saw again. I can't use a saw again. Actually, I don't think I've ever used a saw. I didn't know I had a saw. I was cleaning out the garage yesterday and found the saw. Thought about Psycho Holocaust, and you know what I'm talking about. That scene is just, you know what? As dorky as these characters are throughout the film, by the end of the film, I was actually really rooting for them. Of course, I'm always rooting for Rain Brown, but with her husband and Rain Brown, she's actually prego in it. And so I'm rooting for them, and man, it's actually these I think Iraqi war veterans. So there's kind of like some war commentary to this as well, which is pretty cool. And they're terrorizing this group of youngins. And anyway, one thing I have to stress with this film: do not watch it alone. Not because it's scary or frightening. At the end of the film, probably the last 10 minutes, it's just fantastic, and you're gonna want to high five some people. Last 10 minutes of this film, I'm cheering, I'm clapping, and I actually stood up and I'm looking around like this because I want to high five people because I'm just so into it. Fucking yelling at Rain Brown. I'm like, she's fucking stabbing, and I'm just like stabbing with her, and I'm fucking kicking and chainsaws and knives, and it's just, you know, I'm looking for someone to high five, and I look around and I realize it's just me and the cats. So please watch this with somebody, just so that at the end you have someone to high five and chest bump and knuckle crunch, whatever it is you do, hug, whatever. Because you're gonna be cheering at the end of this film. And I don't want to give away too much at the end, but it's just a throwback to a lot of homages going on with this film. It's just a passionate homage to in particular, a couple films that, if you see it, you know what I'm talking about, from the 80s and late 70s. Psycho Holocaust, fantastic. Rooftop, independent horror film, great cover. Fantastic. Really good time. My pick of the month. Quickly, I don't want to spend too much time on this. I apologize. One of my cats, Suspiria, heard a noise. She just knocked down some fucking dishes in the kitchen. Fucking glass everywhere. Had to take care of that. Ridiculous. Great timing, right? My other pick of the month. Another fantastic entry. Yet another one to 2011 horror. It's going to be so tough to do a top 5 at the end of the year. This is Lucky McKee's The Woman. Great cover. Lucky McKee, director of great independent horror film May, co-written by a great writer Jack Ketchum. Fantastic cast, as did May. This one has Angela Bettis, who's fantastic in the role of the mother. The father is fucking hilarious. This movie, it's quirky, it's funny, it's fresh, also very at times dark and brutal. It's just a fantastic way to spend 90 minutes. Very entertaining horror film. Kind of very similar to Dead Girl, a film you guys know I love. I don't think it's as good, but very similar and kind of similar in plot. This lead actress, again, great cast. Lead actress, the woman, despite her dirty, grimy, primitive state, she's still fucking hot. Kind of reminds me of Mila Jovovich facially. Just a great fucking time. Again, it's most of the film is really a dark comedy, but then it gets kind of weaves in and out with some serious stuff as well, and gets almost unexpectedly brutal towards the end of the film. But fantastic watch. Another great entry to this year, and definitely some social commentary undertones. I could see a Rush Limbaugh windbag saying, you know, hey, that's a feminazi horror movie, man. No, it's not. It's of course, I don't think a Rush Limbaugh fan would be watching this anyway, but it's definitely some social undertones to it, which is cool. Such a good time, such a good watch. The Woman, highly recommended. My other pick of the month. I'm gonna waste time continuing to talk about plot. Just fucking buy these films. When I recommend a film, just fucking add them to your collection. A lot of these you can get cheap. This one, The Woman, I don't know if it's been released yet in the U.S. for whatever reason. I don't get it. This is a cool European release, but Prophecy, some great cheddar. Psycho Holocaust, an RT rooftop independent film. Great stuff. My picks of the month. I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys next month. The final episode, season finale of season 1 of Horror's Ball. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Don't forget to give thanks to the horror gods for all the great films they've given us in horror this year. I'll talk to you next month. I got some big surprises planned, of course, for the season finale. And I will talk to you soon. Remember, everybody, scare yourself and each other. Saw strap on. Ugh.